Kimberly Wise here with the Wise Assistant and www.deathpositivebusiness.com, as well as Kickstart Your Death Positive Business course. Today I'm going to be talking with you about networking and why it's the fastest path to cash in your business, the types of networking groups that are available out there, how they work, what their expectations are, what you can expect from them in building your business, as well as we'll talk a little bit about death positive industry specific opportunities you have to network and how to leverage that. Let's just clear one thing up right away. Whether you are an end-of-life practitioner that is for profit in your business or you're a nonprofit, you still need money and cash flow to keep the roof over your head, the lights on, the computers working, to do the great work that you are meant to do at end of life for people. There's a bit of a misnomer I'm kind of seeing in some of the circles out there that it's nonprofit, they don't need to worry about money, or money's not the focus. I have worked in many nonprofits in my lifetime, and they are just as much, if not more, focused on money than for-profit businesses. They're always looking for funding. They're always concerned about how they're going to pay their bills. Sure, they may not be focused on how much money above and beyond the bills they may make, which is what profit is, but they still need money. And that's part of our end-of-life doula role, is to get clear and to get clear about how businesses work if we're going to be business owners, as well as clear about getting rid of our money shame. And part of that is understanding how nonprofit works. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic we will talk about another time, but I didn't want anybody to be taken aback when I say that networking is the fastest path to cash in a business. And that's why I kind of went into that topic a little bit. I do have some notes because there's a lot of information I'm sharing. So if you don't mind, I'm going to be looking at the computer every now and then to keep me on track, because I could just go on and on and on about all kinds of stuff, and you don't want that, because you got this free gift in order to learn about networking. So that's what we're going to stay on task and do for you. So let's get down to the basics in business. The purpose of all marketing, advertising, public relations, and networking is for you as a brand, as a business brand, as an end-of-life practitioner, whether you're home funeral services or end-of-life doula, guide, coach, legacy coach, whatever you call yourself, your number one focus is to build the know, like, trust factor with the people that you want to do business with, or that you want to have do business with you. They want your services. You need to build the know, like, trust factor. They need to know you, like you, and trust you before you ask them for money. And bottom line, people won't purchase anything from people that they don't have some kind of positive feeling of knowing, liking, and trusting that company or the person, if it's a service provider, a small service provider. So with that said, the reason I say networking is the fastest path to cash is because the fastest way to move people down that road of getting to know you, getting to like you, and trusting you is through networking and talking with them and communicating your message. Networking, as well as marketing, public relations, sales, networking, online and offline, should be a major part of your business plan, especially when you're first starting out. When you're first trying to get brand recognition, get your name known in your community, networking is a huge key to that. And I know most of you, if you're certified end-of-life doulas or home funeral consultants and guides, most of the very reputable certification courses talk about that, how networking is what you need to do. So one of the reasons why that happens is in-person networking. When we're talking about in-person networking for this portion, is because in-person networking and going to groups and becoming part of networking groups, it engages all 5 of the senses. And we all know as end-of-life practitioners, right, that senses, sight, touch, smell, all of that is very important at end of life for people, how they're feeling, soft bedding. We don't want them to be uncomfortable. So if you follow that train of thought along, even in building your business and your marketing, the 5 senses come into play in your marketing. So in-person networking, think about it. When you go to a networking event, the sense of touch, your handshake, right? That's a sense of touch that conveys who you are as a person, how you do a handshake with somebody, how you greet them. Also, the hearing is affected. They listen to your tone of voice, the words you're using, that kind of thing. Do you have a soothing voice? Or are you talking a million miles an hour and they can barely understand you? How does that affect their know-like-trust factor, your know-like trust factor, and how they're moving along that road? So you're going to be affecting people by how they hear you, how they perceive you in their hearing. Also, taste and smell. I know you're thinking, Kim, how are people going to taste and smell? Okay, obviously in in-person networking, you're worried about your breath. So if you have bad breath or halitosis, you're going to want to make sure to take care of that, because you want zero, none, nada, zip, anything negative to affect how that person perceives you and your brand. So if you have bad breath, or you just had some garlic, pop a breath mint in, or spray, okay, or mint essential oils, or whatever you need to do. The other part of it is for taste and smell, where the event is located. If it's in a restaurant or if it's in a meeting room, does the area smell good? Hopefully it doesn't smell like rotting trash or something like that, right? We want it void of any negative smells, because our brain, when we're meeting new people, it's taking in all of this information and stimulus, and it's creating an impression of everybody they meet in that meeting room or at the restaurant. So you're more likely to have a positive influence on the people that you're meeting if you're at a restaurant and the food tastes good and the drinks are good. Well, adult beverages can come in handy, but hopefully loose lips can happen with adult beverages. So don't focus on adult beverages. But the point is that if the people at the networking group are enjoying the environment, they are more likely to associate you with positive feelings. The other sense that comes into factor when you're in-person networking is sight. Obviously, right? I mean, unless they're blind, then their other senses are heightened, so be aware of that. But usually people see you. They look at you. They see how you're dressed. They see whether you smile at them. They see whether you're looking at them in the eyes when you're talking to them. All of that can work for you or against you in in-person networking. All of that works for your know-like-trust factor or against your know-like-trust factor. So take all of that into consideration, okay? So the reason in-person networking and seeing people in person works so well is because it engages all 5 of the senses. Please remember that. Social networking on social media is coming around. Okay, so we don't necessarily have the smell and the taste, but we have the visual cue, we have the audio cue. And that's where Facebook Lives have really come in networking groups and all of that, for the hosts to use Facebook Live, is that it used to be that video wasn't done on Facebook, right? We were all typing. And as businesses started using social media and Facebook to build their business, we've seen more and more senses being engaged. And that's why Facebook Lives came into play. So, very interesting. I'll go a little bit more into that a little bit later. So now that we've talked about the basics of how networking works, the know-like-trust factor, let's talk about the different types of networking opportunities that there are in most communities. There are 5 main general business types of networking you can do. And there are some specific networking opportunities in our death positive business world that are specific to our industry, and we'll go into that a little bit too. So let's get on with the main general 5 types of business networking groups. The first is casual contact networks. Chambers of commerce are a perfect example of this. Chambers and casual contact groups allow hundreds of people to join, and they will overlap in which industries they represent or what aspect of an industry they represent. There's really usually no caveat to any type of number of businesses from a certain industry when you're talking about casual contact. Usually these types of networking groups hold mixers or luncheons, sometimes networking breakfasts. And sometimes they'll even have speakers. They'll have a portion of the meeting that will be open networking, and then they'll bring in a speaker, and that allows that one business to stand up and talk specifically about a topic about their industry, and that helps you learn about their industry. Most casual contact organizations aren't tailored primarily to help you get referrals. You have to exert effort to make them work. So that means you're talking to the right people, you're getting business cards, and you're following up afterwards. You have to exert effort. It's not just, oh, hey, I know you, I've got somebody for you, and here's a referral. You actually have to proactively create that relationship with the people that you meet. Most of all with casual contact is you need to attend them regularly so that people get to see you more and more times and get to know you. The more conversations you have, the more your know, like, trust factor meter is encouraging them to do business with you. Okay? It's growing. So the next type of networking group I want you to be aware of is called strong contact networks. These are the BNI groups, the LATIP groups. These are specifically for giving and receiving referrals, different than the casual contact networking groups, right? So these organizations, their purpose usually is principally to help members exchange business referrals. Some of these groups meet weekly, monthly, a couple times a week, over lunch, sometimes a dinner. Usually I see these types of groups doing breakfasts and lunches during business hours because they aren't casual networking. They are business referral networking. So they tend to do business hours. And most of them limit the number of participants from a particular industry or aspect of an industry. So you need to be very aware of that. It can work for you and against you. Well, I wouldn't say against, it just adds different challenges than a casual networking group would be. Strong contact networks provide highly focused opportunities for you and your associates to begin developing a referral marketing campaign. You won't meet hundreds of business people like you do at casual networking. You'll meet a select few, and you will carry their business cards around with you. So one of the things you need to be really, and they will be, backtrack on that. You'll be carrying their business cards so that you can give out referrals, but they will also be carrying your business cards. So it's like having many salespeople out there working on behalf of your business to actually get you quality referrals. These strong contact networking groups grade you on the quality of the referrals you give to the other members and how much business you help them close. So you need to be aware of that also. It's much more pinpointed in how they do business. So you need to feel comfortable going to a networking event and being able to and willing to not only network for your own business, but if you're part of one of these strong contact groups, you need to be willing to network for everybody else's business also. So keep that in mind when you do that. If you're not willing to pull your weight in a strong contact networking group, then they will cut you loose. So go into it knowing that and deciding in your business and in your time frame, how much time can you really devote to that? For some businesses and industries, it works really well. In others, not so much. Our industry is so new. I think it's yet to be seen whether or not people will understand what we're doing enough and not be afraid of talking about the topic of death. Remember, we live in a death-denying society by and large. So as our industry grows and we come out more and more, we will know better which type of networking groups we use. And you guys are the cutting edge front runners learning all this stuff. So, people 5 years from now are going to look back and go, how did you build your business? Because the momentum is just now growing for us. So let's move on to the next type of networking group. Those are community service clubs. These are your Lions clubs, civic leagues, assistance leagues, like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America or the USO, those types of organizations. They are not business building specific or networking specific organizations. These service clubs are more about service for your community, which is wonderful. I mean, we're all about service. Usually end of life practitioners are all about being of service, right? So this might really fit for you. And it's really a good way, I call it social karma, that you may not get referrals directly from the people in your service clubs, but that doesn't mean that, number one, karmically and energetically, it's great for you to be tithing your time and being willing to donate your services and time. But it'll come back to you tenfold, but it may not come back directly from somebody in that group. So you just have to understand that it's very important to do it. It's good to be seen. But I'm talking business here. I want you to understand that, right? I'm not just talking about leveraging it for your business. Of course, we all want to be of service out in the community anyway. That's what we're givers by nature. I'm talking, and I'm here coaching you specifically on the business aspects. That doesn't mean that all the other aspects of why we should be giving our time aren't important. It's just not the focus of what I'm trying to convey here. So please understand that. The other type of network is professional associations. So the end-of-life doulas have NEDA, NHPCO, the Home Funeral Alliance is a professional association. The goal into tapping into a professional association, you don't want to tap into your own association to build your business unless you're doing like affiliate type work where you pay others to help you. Maybe they have I'm sorry, I'm dropping a word here and I have it right on the tip of my tongue. So you don't have to be perfect to do these videos, right? A compatible service to yours, even in end of life, and you guys can get together and do something together. Usually you would want to be part of associations where you would meet prospective clients. And this again is why our industry being so new and coming out, some of these tried and true business practices, we're having to figure them out. How do they work in our industry, end of life industry? So you may find that there are so many service organizations or associations you could be a part of because bottom line, none of us get out of here alive. We're all going to die, right? So the whole world is our prospect, right? So as the industry matures, we will figure out better which networking events work best for our industry and our services. The other one that I want to talk about, the other group that I want to talk about, and it's not really a group, it could be a group, but it's more social media and online platforms. From a business perspective, the ideal use for social media is to build your brand, the brand awareness, as well as your credibility, aka your know, like, trust factor. And how you do that is how you interact with people on the social media platforms by liking, commenting, sharing their posts, sharing your knowledge, giving. And then you become a go-to person online for knowledge about that, about what we do, right, as end of life. With social media, because people can get sucked into using it and being on it all the time, I highly suggest you get a very specific plan in place and then follow the plan. It can be an energy sucker, an energy vampire. And so you really have to watch and be very strategic with social media in how you do your organic. That's what we call organic. Your interaction is an organic way to build that know, like, trust factor. Of course, we're not talking about it right now, but the other way is advertising. And social media advertising is really taking off, as is other advertising. And some of that will come into play later on in your business. But right now, especially if you're bootstrapping your business and you don't have unlimited funds, networking is the fastest way to start creating funds. And social media is a big part of that. So because of what I do, I also wanted to discuss, and what we do actually is end-of-life doulas. I put on different hats. I'm a doula 1 minute, I'm a home funeral celebrant the next minute, or coach, and I'm also a 21-year virtual assistant and online business manager. So because of what we do in end-of-life, we have specific industry, not necessarily groups, but opportunities to network through death cafes or death over dinner events. Those are really starting to come out. Death Cafe is probably the most well-known. I've really been interested in doing the death over dinner events, talking about death over dinner with people. I think that's really, really neat. It's more intimate. Anyway, so check those out. Now, the key with those things is those types of events that you can either participate in or you can host, is that they don't want you going in there and selling your service. So you need to be there hosting the event, moderating it, prompting people to talk about different topics, all that kind of stuff. But you aren't there to give a speech about your service and you're holding your audience captive and, oh, this is a great opportunity. You can't do that. They won't let you, if they get complaints about you doing that, they will not let you do anymore or register any more death cafes. So you need to be careful with that. But I think it's pretty cool that we even have those opportunities. Because as we know, end-of-life practitioners, we want to be seen as the go-to person in our community or a go-to person in our community based on what aspect of that service we're providing, right? So a lot of industries don't have those kinds of specialized, very specific to our industry death conversations that we can have. And that's pretty cool. The other thing I have is a strategy that I actually go to in depth in my Kickstart Your Death Positive Business course, is a proprietary system that I have set up using meetup groups. And it's really neat. I've had tremendous success with it locally. And what I like about it is that it allows you to control the content in the group. You're seen as the professional putting it on. You can do it in person or virtually with a webinar, so you don't always have to be physically present. And there's ways, amazing ways to leverage this. So if you're interested in that, sign up for my Kickstart Your Death Positive Business course, because I go into it and I give you all the how-tos on how to set it up, how to run it, topics, all of that kind of thing. So I would look into that. So looking at my notes here, sorry, I'm a note taker. Bottom line, no matter which group you choose to focus on in your networking, you'll need a well thought out follow-up system. And I want you, besides remembering know, like, trust factor as a key term from this video, I want you to remember this term: the fortune is in the follow-up. It does you no good to go to networking events if you are not following up. So part of this little mini free course that you're getting is an infographic to show you, once you come back from networking events, how to categorize all those business cards you got from people. And so you're going to look that up. And also I put on there the best ways to follow up with them based on what category they're in. And this comes from 21 years of experience of doing this stuff. So you're going to want to take a look at that. But you need to get a follow-up system in place. And the more automated, the better. So you don't have to think about it each time. Create, emails based on the type of contact they are for you, for your business. And then automate the process. So remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. If you're not following up with these people and you're not knowing how to categorize them, all the networking in the world isn't going to do your business a whole lot of good. So that's about it. If you're interested in getting some help on putting a follow-up system together because you're already involved in networking groups and all of that, reach out to me, Kimberly@thewiseassistant.com. I have a whole team of virtual assistants, and we have systems in place that have been proven. We've used them with clients, hundreds of clients over the last 21 years. For your messaging, we'll work with you on your messaging, your branding, and having a plug and play system for following up with your networking from your networking events. Anyway, that's about it. Again, my name's Kimberly Wise. I'm with The Wise Assistant. That's my OBM and virtual assistant business. I also have www.deathpositivebusiness.com, as well as the Kickstart Your Death Positive Business course. I hope to hear from you soon. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.